In this episode, we'll be discussing bandwidth. This is being done in a dark theme for those of you who enjoy using your devices in a dark space, so do enjoy. Dispelling the myth. There's a common myth or misconception in the telecommunications industry, mainly due to marketing. This myth has also led to many customers leaving their current provider and migrating to the competitor, resulting in a loss of revenue for the company. So what's the myth, you may ask? Bit versus byte. Now, most people say that, if I kind of download something in, let's say, 100 megabits per second, then it's not worth it. But that 100 megabits may just be like 15 megabytes per second. Now, while that's a lot, that's still a huge misconception. But you can always pause the video and read what I mean by this. Moving on. Streaming. Streaming requirements. This is the streaming requirements for YouTube. For standard definition of 360p, you have 0.7 megabits per second or 0.7 megabits per second. For standard definition for 80p, you have 1.1 megabits per second. For HD 720p, you have 2.5 megabits per second. For HD 1080p, you have 5 megabits per second. And for 4K Ultra HD, you have 20 megabits per second. Now, mind you, there are sometimes bursts where you might need 25 megabits per second, but most of the time 20 is sufficient. Online gaming. This is a diagram from NetDuma. Do you need high-speed bandwidth for gaming? If you look to your right, you will see you only need about 0.1, sometimes up to 0.7 megabits per second for gaming. And if you look to your left, you will see for streaming, downloads, working from home versus gaming. It's not that much. Video conference. This is from Zoom. This was the highest I got on the downstream of 200 kilobits per second, and on the upstream it was 40 kilobits per second. So you don't need a 10, 15, 20, 50 or 100 megabit per second connection just to use it. It's all about your ping. For cloud gaming, this is for the Stadia system, which has been discontinued, but it's still relevant. For 720p, they recommend about 5 to 10 megabits per second. For 1080p, they recommend about 15 to 20 megabits per second. And for 4K, they recommend between 25, 30, and 45 megabits per second, due to also streaming sound as well as the connectivity, because you also share your connection with other people in your house. So the more people on the network, the longer it'll take to go from your controller to the server and then back to your screen. This is what it looks like. So it's from your controller to the game server, to the cloud server, and then back to your device. That's all for now. In the next episode, we'll discuss IXP, interconnect, and customer service. Till next time.